Live.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. I am your host, Brian Barnaby. And let's just say the boys are back in town.
She got away. Know what I say? She can't joke. She don't know what to do.
She's gotta go. Bye. I know that you love this flow. We just chillin'. We just chillin'. We some villains.
I love it. Get the ammo and I stick it up. I grab a shot on the top of the shot. I put the clip and I let it in. I make it explode. Hit your toes. Hit your nose. When you touch your toes.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. I am your host, Brian Barnaby, and we have our super producer, Tony.
Hello, world.
Holding down the fort for Main Magic Mike. And of course, we'll have Grasso on in a little bit to talk some NBA. But as you could see, we're at Citi Field.
Yeah, baby.
Reluctantly. Wasn't my call there, but hey. Nice win last night. We'll get in that in a little bit. And, of course, we'll start in the world of Major League Baseball.
Giving chase is Judge, and he dives into the stand.
Rob begins the season with an overpowering strikeout of Ronald Acuna. Oh, it's gone! Three-run home run! What's going on here? Drives one to the moon. Drives one to the moon. Very gone.
So, last night, Yankees get back in the win column, defeat the Rangers 7-4, and I was very happy to see this. I mean, obviously, as we talked about yesterday, Tony, I was expecting a win here, but they were down 3-0 in the fourth inning. So I'm thinking, are we really going to drop the first two in Texas? Like, what a terrible feeling.
Nervous, Barnes.
But speaking of nervous, Tyone, nervous again. He doesn't even go 5 innings. He gives up 4 earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks. So, I guess it wasn't such a shellacking that they'll probably give him another start, but really not trending in the right direction at all here.
Nah, dude. But what did you see? Was his fastball was he having issues with it again? Or
no,
what?
Fastball was good. They showed some graph. It was like they were 3 for 17 against his fastball. All their pitchers hitting 500. So I guess that's the whole thing. But still, I think he just, he's got to define those pitches better. I mean, he had some strikeouts with the high fastball, but just, I mean, and like I had said, I kind of, saw this coming. I don't know. I don't have a comfort level with him. But at the end of the day, the more important thing is the win. And I love that it was situational hitting. I mean, you score 7 runs and don't hit any homers.
Right.
I mean, the Yankees very rarely do that. So I was happy with that. And the way this actually started is, we had 2 doubles and a single, all with 2 outs, in the fourth inning. It's just like, these are the situations where, they weren't, producing. So to see that and to see, Sanchez had the double,
right.
DJ had the double, guys that we'd wanted to see, step up. And Andujar showing signs of life. He has a 4-game hitting streak now, 5 for his last 14. So that's something, to get excited about seeing someone else produce while we have a couple of these injuries here.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, we mentioned, they kind of don't perform in that aspect of the game. And when you see the whole lineup performing, kind of turning almost a new leaf, making their necessary adjustments, I mean, you love to see that from the Yankees. Dude.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, Fultonevich, we've talked about him. I'm thinking he's going to pitch a gem, but he just fell apart there in a 5-run fourth inning. And you just look at overall, up and down the lineup, Judge had 2 hits, Odor had 2 hits, Andujar had 2 hits, and Ford had 2 hits. So that's a lot of good. Yeah, Ford, that's even more surprising than Gardner these days. But I have to say, you remember me saying this. I've actually been impressed. He just came back from the injury with Odor. I think he's actually provided what they were looking for when they picked him up from Texas.
Yeah, definitely. And you said, he comes off an injury, so kind of up in the air, almost not sure what he's going to do. And like you said, he's producing. It's great.
And he narrowly missed a home run, last night. hit off the wall.
Oh.
But I think, of course he's out for revenge here in Texas,
Right.
a team that just paid to get rid of him. And you have to question that move on their end. I mean, I know, his numbers weren't there, but you see this lineup. I mean, they don't have much to work with. So I don't know what the rush was to not at least let it play out a little more with him.
Did they just release him, or
they traded him to the Yankees, but are paying his whole contract. There's still 2 more years in addition to this season.
Oh.
And it was like, I think he was getting 15 or something. I mean,
yeah, right. You would think a team like the Rangers aren't really in any position to be doing that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So, hey, I mean, that's what they decided to do. And then overall, top to bottom in the lineup, every starter had at least 1 hit other than Lamare, a guy, the journeyman, that we talked about. So hopefully, Stanton will be back soon. They could just designate him for assignment because I don't know. You know what I mean? He's not Mike Tauchman.
No.
He won't be Mike Tauchman. So let's just move on. Let's get Florial up, But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, it is the Rangers. But the thing that I took away, 2 really positive signs here. You had production through the whole lineup, and then the fact that you came back. You didn't get down early, and then because a lot of times we see that where they don't score through 5 innings, and they end up with 1 or 2 because they're just kind of down and not confident. But we saw them come back here, and then the bullpen does what they do all season: 4 2/3 scoreless innings.
Dude. Chapman.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. Wait, 3 strikeouts, right?
3 strikeouts, 1 hit, his 10th save. Just completely locked in. And, it's funny because it is, that he's added pitches to his repertoire. Right. So the hitters have to guess a little more. But at the same time, the fastball command I've never seen him pitch like this, dude, with his fastball as a Yankee.
Those strikeout pitches, the first one was 101, I think, or 100, and then 101. And then that last strikeout was 103, dude.
Yeah.
And that stare down. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah.
He's an animal, dude.
Yeah.
He's breathing fire right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the Chapman, we like to see because honestly, the last couple of years, mainly because of the postseason meltdowns, I haven't been a huge fan, and now I'm fully back with it. I mean, he's pitching like the best closer in the game right now.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely, dude.
And it was just funny because I remember, I think it was his second year. So first full season, after they had traded him and then re-signed him. And he, every year he's kind of gone through this period of time where he just no command, can't get anyone out. And they were using him in the 7th inning. This is back when they had Betances and all of them. But it was just funny. He was actually pitching in middle relief. Betances was closing, and then he figured it out. And then obviously since then, when he's healthy, of course, he's going to close games for the Yankees. But love to see it.
Yeah, you do.
And then just, it's funny too, because obviously having Lamare in the lineup, you kind of question, getting rid of Tauchman, but Peralta has been a welcomed addition to this bullpen.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, dude. And I mean, I feel like if he wasn't, dude, that getting rid of Tauchman looks even worse, man. So at least the Yankees have gotten something out of it.
Yeah, I mean the velocity. I think the main reason why they wanted to get him, even though the numbers weren't there, just they felt, he had the stuff with the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. You can never have too many lefties, of course, in the pen. And having 3 lefties in a pen, I mean, that gives you flexibility late in games too, which is nice.
Yeah, no, totally.
So, and then, Loaiza and Green, they've been solid all season. So with this win, Boston lost last night. So there's now, a game and a half, behind first. So kind of, right where you need to be, but the work isn't done yet. You have a game tonight, the matinee tomorrow. So you look at tonight, Corey Kluber back on the hill, 8:05 on yes. Rangers haven't announced a starter yet. So you're thinking bullpen game. So, I mean, that sets up, for the offense again, obviously.
Yeah. But then, hopefully Kluber, let's get 6 innings, another good outing.
And speaking of Kluber, he's been on a roll.
Yeah.
The Yankees have won his last 4 starts, and he's given up 2 runs or less in 3 of the 4, and has gone in every start at least 5 2/3 innings after struggling in his first 3 or 4 starts to even go 5.
I know you'll have to see that. Obviously, the fans and the team, they're getting confidence with Kluber, and obviously you can tell that he's getting confidence in himself as well. So you'd expect, another great outing from him, and hopefully he can keep the momentum going.
And the thing is here, I think tonight's very important other than, you want to get Kluber back on track. I mean, obviously they won last start, but he did give up 4 runs against Baltimore, which, isn't ideal. And I think it's also important because you got the day game tomorrow. Obviously, there's a lot of injuries and stuff, but I'm sure they're going to rest some players. So you want to at least secure this win tonight, and then worry about tomorrow. But a 2:00 start tomorrow for the game. So you just want to close out this series the right way. But I do feel just in general a lot to like from last night when you're talking about the Yankees.
Of course, dude. And as for tonight, I would imagine with Sanchez having that hamstring issue, right? Higgy will be behind the plate. And hopefully he's been in a little bit of a lull, I feel, right? So
yeah, and it's funny. So then Sanchez has been catching more, pitchers haven't been pitching as well. Wonder if there's any correlation there.
Oh, maybe.
It's interesting though to think, and it's like if it's gonna make that big of a difference, then I mean you have to, I guess, catch him half the time. But hopefully Sanchez is okay. But I would think too with the day game tomorrow, just give him the day off today. This way, make sure he's good, for tomorrow. So we will see 8:05 on Yes, and for the first time in a while, we're able to say Yankees win. And the Mets win.
Yeah, baby.
You are pumped. Let's hear
go, dude. All right, dude. I mean, you got to start off with Pilar right now, dude. I mean, bro. That guy is a savage, first of all, dude. Did you see him? Did you see him in the post-game conference? Or
No, I missed that.
So he has multiple, right? Yeah. Nasal fractures, dude. He looks bad, dude. His nose is crooked. He has 2 black eyes. Like, he's tough, dude. Comes in the locker room yesterday wanting to be in the lineup, dude.
Wow.
He wants to play.
Wow. I mean, that's a savage.
A savage move, dude. Like, this ain't hockey. You got to rest for a while, dude. But it's unbelievable. I mean, of course, he seems to be already on the road to recovery. It seems totally fine. So, of course, obviously, best of luck to his recovery and everything. But, I mean, dude, the Mets, I mean, they're getting their bench in there, dude, and they're squeezing out these wins, which is huge. I mean, against a team like the Braves, I mean, they could be a dangerous team, right? And then you have this ragtag group of Mets that are coming by. They're getting wins. So, I mean, you just absolutely love to see it. And, Lindor produced pretty well. I think he was 2 for 4 last night. His batting average is getting up there. I think it's around 200. Villar's doing well also. I think he also went 2 for 4. He's batting like 250 or something like that. So, I mean, you just love to see that. And Khalil Lee, right, comes in the outfield. A little bit of I think he was 0 for 4. Not great at bats last night. He seemed nervous to be in the big leagues here. But in terms of replacing Conforto in the outfield, he had some nice defensive plays for sure. He has a good arm in the outfield. He had a nice diving catch. So, I mean, he looked good. He's a speedy guy for sure, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least he was able to contribute with a golden sombrero. Usually doesn't correlate, obviously, that played a role, of course. And then Lindor with 2 hits. So, I mean, I know they were singles, but I guess you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, dude. And I think he's second in the lineup. Yeah, Villar was first, which he's been producing. So, I mean, it works, man. I mean, it's work. Their lineup is doing well.
And how have we gone a couple minutes without talking about Nito?
Nito, dude. I mean, although he's not, as good as McCann defensively, but I mean, dude, he's got bats right now, and that's what we need.
Yeah, and to have that go-ahead big solo home run in the top of the ninth after having 3 for 4 2 days ago.
3 for 4, yeah.
So, I mean, he's been producing and that's what you want to see. And then just, I mean, a bullpen day cannot go any better for the Mets here. I mean, they go the distance, of course, and they strike out 15 over 9 innings, allowing 5 hits and 3 earned. I mean, that's getting the job done, even with Familia, with letting that inherited runner score, but picking up the win.
Yeah, and then you have to see Diaz coming in there, closing it out pretty convincingly, I should say, because his last couple outings were a little shaky. He seemed to struggle with a little bit of his control, but he looked good last night, dude.
Yeah.
And especially with having almost a whole bullpen played.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to see kind of everyone produces out of the bullpen like that. And like I said, squeezing out these wins, like these tight games. I mean, it could easily go either way, but I mean, coming up with a W is huge. A win is a win here.
Where are you at with Diaz now? Are you still not like 100% confident, but feeling pretty good, or?
I mean, more confident than previous years for sure, but
Okay.
I mean, not 100% yet. Like I said, we've seen him kind of struggle. I think 2 nights ago, he walks the leadoff batter rather, and his first 6 pitches were balls. So you can see him kind of like we see him kind of get inside his own head a little bit, which we've seen in the past. But I mean, he's he buckles down. So.
Yeah.
More so in the past.
And
so.
I think it's good, at least, when there is problems, it's more of a control thing than giving up homers. Because 2 years ago, and when he had that 6 ERA or whatever it was, that was a disaster.
Yeah, he would be guaranteed at least a home run every time he was on the mound.
Yeah. So, hey, you have to be happy with a win, and they'll go for the sweep after getting swept, over the weekend. Tonight, 7:20 SNY. Our guy, David Peterson, back on the hill versus Charlie Morton. So should be a good pitching matchup. And Peterson, while he had a great last start, he actually is winless since his second start of the season. So he's looking to get back in the win column tonight.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, his last outing was so good, right? What was 7 1/3 innings, right?
15 straight
15
at one
straight, dude. I mean, give it another outing like that, dude. I'll be beyond happy for him. Like,
Yeah,
exactly what we need. And, we've had the bats come around a little bit. So I think there should not be a reason why he couldn't get his first dub here.
And I think it's also important for him because, like we've talked about, I mean, we got, DeGrom's going to join the rotation again, Syndergaard and Carrasco on their way back. These are important starts. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Walker, obviously.
Right.
But,
but I mean, his spot is far from solidified, like we said, with Carrasco, Syndergaard, and everyone coming back. So, I mean, the eyes are still on Peterson to kind of perform here for sure.
Did they do an MRI on Walker? Has there been?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay, so we'll probably, I would think,
today.
Find out something today.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to be happy. I mean, these have been close games. They gutted them out. And I'm sure tonight you'd like to see, I know it's tough with guys out of the lineup, but you still have a lot of big hitters in there. So I'm sure you'd like to see a little more consistency on the offensive.
Yeah, for sure. And with Morton, who's struggled with control this season, granted, he's still a great pitcher, but I mean, if we are patient behind the plate, we wait for him to make his mistake and capitalize on it, there shouldn't be no reason why we couldn't get 5 runs tonight.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's a repeat of last night. Yankees win, Mets win, and all will be good in the world. And then, just around the majors, another no-hitter last night. Derek Turnbull throws a no-hitter for the Tigers in Seattle. And what a story. A guy who in 2019 led the majors in losses, goes the distance, 9 innings, 9 Ks, the 2 walks, 5th no-hitter of the season. And it's funny, when I saw his name, instantly I thought of the former Brewers reliever, Derek Turnbow. I don't know if you remember him. He had kind of had the hater hair, but from the right side. And just similar name, it just reminded me of one of those guys, dominant for a couple of years, and then, where are you? Just gone. I think we're talking probably about 6 to 8 years ago, but that's the first thought I thought there. But honestly, with all these no-hitters, I mean, we're not even through May yet, and we've had 5. I have to ask you, is it time to go back to the old baseball?
I mean, it's got to be, right? I mean, it's tough, though. I feel like these no-hitters, though, have been coming from, like, almost not necessarily no-name pitchers, but pitchers who have been doing well in the past, even with, I mean, they've been pitching for teams that aren't even that, like contending, I feel,
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. So we had Musgrove,
right?
Turnbull, Wade Miley, and I'm trying to think who?
Means? John Means, Orioles.
Oh, I don't know why. Means, and then is it Rondon?
Yeah,
Rondon? Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, none of those guys are anybody you would put in the top 10
definitely not
starters in the league. So just kind of interesting. I mean, but do you think it's a lot to do with the baseball or not really?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has something to do with them changing the baseball, I think. I mean, it depends on what, I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, obviously the MLB, like they're struggling for viewership, right? So they're trying different things, and obviously changing the ball seems to be their go-to here. And I mean, it's creating more buzz for the league around for sure. So will they change it back? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's buzz and spurts, but at the same time, I mean, is it that much buzz with guys hitting for career lows and not putting the ball in play? You know what I mean? And the thing I don't get is like, why can't they just go back to whatever the quote unquote original baseball was? Because I mean, there was the baseball that was getting bombed, I guess in 2019. But where's the baseball before that? Because it seems like this ball isn't the same as that ball was.
I guess not. I'm not exactly sure what types of changes they've made exactly.
I always hear like the stitches.
The stitches, right?
Defined,
so, I don't know. Maybe it's giving pitchers better grip, so they
because that was
more
the complaint
in
with the other ball, that there was no grip, and that's why guys were getting torched out on the mound. But just kind of crazy. And I mean, right now, I mean, we're on pace to have over 10. I mean, obviously that would be a record, but I'm sure not sustainable. But the way we are without contact these days, I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to get double digits on the no hitters this year.
No, yeah, definitely not. So keep an eye on that.
And then one other thing here, I saw this. I guess it was late last night. Trout came back 6 to 8 weeks. He's out. Dude. Oh my God.
You hate to see that for the Yankees.
I mean, there's no way, and it's May, and you hate to wave the white flag, but there's no way that they're not going to be completely out of it by the time he gets back.
Oh yeah, there's no way, dude. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I think Rendon is out too, right? He's hurt. So I mean,
just Ohtani has.
How much could Ohtani produce? Although, granted, hit another home run last night. I think he's at 13 now, 14 maybe.
God, he's really putting on a show. I mean, it's hard to not think that he's going to get some serious MVP consideration. I mean, if he keeps it up on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. The guy is unbelievable, and you see him. I mean, he's like a little kid out there almost, dude. He's having so much fun. He's laughing. He's cracking jokes. He's having a great time. Like, he clearly is just loving every second of it. So, I mean, I don't see why his performance wouldn't be sustainable for the whole season.
And it's just tough. I mean, just nobody really, comes to mind. Obviously, just early in the season. I mean, technically no one's out of it, but it's like, you're thinking, okay, they want to be competitive. They can add pitching.
Right.
I mean, who the heck are you going to add? I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, and they've already tried Harvey before, that didn't work out. So that's not a guy that, they can count on. I mean, who knows? Maybe Morton if the Braves fall out of it.
Yeah, maybe, dude.
But I guess we will see. But, like we've been saying, interesting start to the season and looking forward to watching the games today. So we shall see what happens. But another great segment, quick break, and get Grasso on for some NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She got away. You know what I'm saying? She can't control. She don't know what to do.
She's gotta go. Bye. I know that you love this flow. We just chillin', we just villains. We just chillin', we some villains.
I love it up, get the ammo and I stick it up. I grab a shot on the top of shots. I bust the clip and I let it dip. I make it poop, make it explode. Touch your toes, hit your nose. Can you touch your toes? Simon telling you what to do. Follow my commando, hit in the bando, trap in the bando, not like a Rambo. Rocky, Sylvester, Solo. I'm telling you, I get this money even on my own.
And Grasso joins us. What's going on, bro?
How you doing, Barnes?
Good. Still buzzing from this play-in last night, huh?
Oh, so exciting. Some great games.
So, we'll start first game. I mean, talking about a beatdown, the Pacers drop a $144 on the Hornets. They only score 117, and this was over from the start. I think they were up 16 after the first quarter, 24 at halftime. So really wasn't close, and the Pacers really showed up and bottled up LaMelo Ball and company, huh?
Yeah, this game I think was over within the first 4 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pacers were making everything. I mean, Doug McDermott, I think, or the Pacers in general hit 7 of their first 11 threes. McDermott had, I think, 16 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the Pacers beat the Hornets to every single loose ball, every single rebound. They just played harder and better, and kind of embarrassing for the Hornets.
It's like, do they want to get Borrego fired? Is that why?
I mean, I don't think that's the reason. I think I want to say experience, but half the guys that were playing for the Pacers were no-name guys too. I mean,
Brissett
O'Shea
with another
Brissett lit him
big
up.
game, my guy.
I only know
23
O'Shea
points.
Brissett is because he went to Syracuse. But if it wasn't for that.
LeVert doesn't even play. It didn't even matter. I mean, Sabonis, 14 points, 21 boards. That was big. Brogdon added 16 and 8. And it's just funny. It's a blowout. I was so riled to see this. I saw in the box score, it was only 2 minutes, but former UConn center Amita Brima got in the game. I mean,
Lord.
It's a blowout if he's playing.
Yeah, I think everyone on each roster played in this game. It was just – it wasn't a good game, man.
But I am going to have to take some Mystic Barb's credit here. I said Ball would be bottled up. He goes 4-14 from the floor, 14 points. I mean, it happens.
All right, Barb. Mystic Barb's in the building. All right.
So
got both games right last night.
Yeah. So, I mean, what can I say? But, not much else to say there other than, we'll obviously get into the next game. But, the Pacers now have, Hornets season over. Pacers have an opportunity Thursday to get that 8th seed, and they're going to be playing the Washington Wizards because last night we had the Celtics 118, Wizards 100, and obviously the thing that stands out here, Jason Tatum drops 50 points. What a game. What a season for Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, he's been putting up big numbers throughout the entire year, but I mean, this game was close in the first half, but Tatum really took over in the second. Kemba had a good game as well. You could clearly see in this game that Bradley Beal is hurt.
Oh, my God. He's grabbing the hand like crazy.
All night, he was stretching it every single chance he got. If this was a regular season game or anything else, he wouldn't have played. And, I said that yesterday. I thought that would be the difference. I thought Russell Westbrook could kind of keep the team in check for the first 3 quarters, but they need Beal down the stretch. And, I mean, he tried, A for effort for Bradley Beal, but you can't play through an injury like that and be that effective as normal. And then Tatum was he was hitting everything. Yeah.
I mean, just what a season, like I said. He hit 5 3-pointers, 5 of 12, had the 8 boards, and because he said he wasn't 100% from COVID, but you would have never noticed after he came back from that. He just had a great year. And then Kemba Walker steps up, 29 points, 7 assists, so in a big game, kind of like we were thinking, so that was impressive. And then Tristan Thompson, 12 and 12, and he was actually the only other Celtic in double figures, so it was very top heavy as far as the scoring was concerned in this one for the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Tatum's 50, they probably would have lost this game, even though Russell Westbrook didn't play very well either, inefficient. But now the Celtics can go get swept by the Nets.
So and I'm disappointed here that Jaylen Brown's out, because I think it would have been an interesting series if he was healthy. But like you said, setting up for a sweep, and I think at the very best, a 5-game series. Just too much to go against.
I think if Jaylen Brown played it at very best, would have been a 5-game series. So I mean, this is the plan in the East. I mean, they're playing to get swept in the first round. Is what it is,
and Westbrook, I kind of figured this would happen. I mean, if you look at it, okay, 20 points, 14 boards, 5 assists, but 6 of 18. I mean, no efficiency whatsoever, and probably telling the big guys to let him grab all the rebounds so he can get his stats up.
Yeah, I mean, look, Westbrook's crazy talented. He's got all the skill in the world. I feel like he still hasn't figured out the pace.
Yeah,
like he just goes either full speed or he's not going. I mean, he's almost always going full speed, but like when you're that skilled and athletic, like you got to slow it down. You got to use hesitations. He just, I don't know, man. Like he hasn't figured that part out. He's just 2 foot on the gas all the time. It's just, it doesn't lead to winning basketball, especially in the playoffs.
No. So, they'll try to get, that 8 seed and face your Sixers.
Swept.
They'll face the Pacers on Thursday. So, I mean, it'll be interesting. And and I'll be interested to see, too, if, like you're saying, if the Celtics get swept and maybe embarrassed by the Nets, if that kind of, causes Stevens to go here. I mean, it's hard to say. You're not hearing too much coming out of Boston regarding that.
No, and then speaking of that, and then speaking to the Wizards, Scott Brooks, I think his job's in jeopardy, and whoever's the general manager in Washington. Because, I mean, you look at that team, like they didn't put a viable big man on the floor all game. I mean, Bertans just a shooter. They were relying on Robin Lopez and Daniel Gafford, who's a second-year guy they just got from the Bulls. So, I mean, the team is just not put together well.
Right. It's just one of those things, everybody gets excited. They go on a good run. They have some big names, but it just then you overvalue them. And we've seen it all season. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what good stretch they go on, they're a mediocre team. I mean, it is what it is.
They're still the Wizards.
Yeah.
2 good players and the rest of their teams.
But, I'm sure obviously for Beal and for Westbrook's sake, they want to get into a playoff series, at least extend the season a little more, and they'll get the opportunity to do that tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. And then, tonight we have the West playing games, and we'll start with, the more exciting matchup we have here, just as far as star power is concerned. The Lakers do play the Warriors, and right now the Lakers are 5-point favorites here. They won 2 out of 3 meetings this season, a 25-plus point margin of victory both times. So, they handled them pretty good. And, Davis and LeBron say they're, feeling good and ready to go. Obviously, that's the whole team for the Lakers. I mean, that's everything here. And, Drummond, he seems like he's rounding into form a little more. 4 straight double-doubles. I mean, at this point with those guys back, that's all they really want from him is double-digit boards, and he doesn't even need to score 10 points. But if he does, I mean, obviously that just helps, with the scoring load.
Yeah, and I think, when Andre Drummond came over, everyone was out, and he was expected to be like a 20-20 guy. And, that's not really Drummond. He's not a scorer. I think with LeBron and Davis back, and they have a couple other guys in that team that could score. So Drummond doesn't have to do anything. He can just get his points off offensive boards and, some dump passes down in the paint. It's a lot more of a comfortable role for Drummond. He can focus on the defensive side and the rebounding, let LeBron and Davis score. Like you said, though, the Lakers, it comes down to LeBron and AD. And if these guys are really healthy, they're still probably the favorites to win the championship, even if they are a 7 seed. But, LeBron's ankle still worries me a little bit going up against a guy like Steph Curry, who we've seen just absolutely dominating the league, especially the last couple months. He could beat you. One guy could beat you. Steph Curry is the guy that could do it. But I think I'm with you on this one, Barnes. I think the Lakers are going to win, and I could see them winning this game big. I'm excited, though. I'm really excited for this game, but I think the Lakers are going to dominate.
Yeah, and we know, if Mike was here, he would say the Warriors by 20.
Yeah. No, Mike does not have confidence in the Lakers in this game.
Lakers, this is Barnes tomorrow coming in hot. Stone cold, baby, with the 2 beers, slapping them.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
But and it's funny. You could argue. I mean, obviously they want to play little as they don't want to have to play an extra game. But you could argue they would be better off facing the Jazz than the Suns. But just I guess the Jazz did give them some trouble. I mean, they didn't have their full lineup every time. But I think either way, both guys are healthy. I mean, they're confident they can beat anyone.
Yeah, I think they're the better team. I think they're better than both Utah and Phoenix, the Lakers. And I mean, I don't think it matters who they get. They'd rather have, I think, that extra couple days of rest. Just get LeBron's ankle right. Like I don't think he really sprained it bad. He twisted it, and all you need for the twisted ankle, 2 or 3 days off of it, and you're fine. So if LeBron could get an extra day off, I mean, that'll be huge.
And I wouldn't be surprised, he wants to save himself for this stretch run. If he really focuses on distributing tonight and getting Davis, a 30, 40-point game and getting some shooters open.
I actually agree. I mean, definitely to start out this game, I think LeBron's going to look to get Davis going. I think, if Anthony Davis could drop 40 tonight, I mean, that would be like ideal for LeBron James.
Mike Theophil, Chef Curry for 50.
Oh, man. And the Warriors will still lose by 50.
I mean, that's the thing. Curry could drop 50 and they could still lose. I mean, do you have confidence in your boy Andrew Wiggins over there, Mike? Because they're going to need games
where are you, bud?
From Wiggins, Draymond Green.
Draymond will have to have more than 2 points, if they want to have a shot here. But
better than a triple single.
I honestly, the way this is for the Lakers, and obviously, I mean, 42-30, they really shouldn't have to play in a game like this. But that just shows to the strength of the top of, the Western Conference. And I like, as an analogy here, this is like when Alabama plays like a Division I AA school for their opening game. game, before they get really into the
tune-up
teeth
game.
of the schedule. That's what this is. Got to give it to Curry, though. I mean, he's the oldest scoring champ at 33 years old since Michael Jordan in 1998. He was 35, and you see it too. I mean, coming off that injury, coming off hand surgery, you really didn't know which way it would go. I mean, you expect him to be good, but you didn't know, is he past his prime? But then he has a season for the ages this year. So you have to give it to Curry for this season.
And everyone was doubting him and saying, like, this is the season. He's not a true superstar. He's just a shooter, blah, blah, blah. He was getting triple teamed all season. He scored 31 a game. I mean, Curry's ridiculous. I think he's one of the best offensive players ever. Yeah. Definitely the greatest shooter ever.
And to get to the Warriors to 6 games over 500, working with nothing. Wiseman got hurt, of course. Draymond hasn't provided any scoring punch. Wiggins, I guess you could say, has had a good season, but we know he's up and down. He had to deal with Oubre, missing his first 103 pointers of the season. So
I forgot, is he still even on the team?
Yeah, I guess he is.
Mike says best shooter next to Barnes.
Of course. I forgot about Barnes. My bad.
But yeah, like we were saying, I mean, I just don't think this is close. I think the Lakers are in a different class, and we'll see that tonight. And wouldn't be surprised if, one of their other meetings this year, that it's out of control at halftime and there's nothing to see. So we will see, even though I know Tony Overs here is thinking upset, but it's talking a little crazy here.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. We will see.
And it's funny, like you mentioned, the Lakers 42 and 30 shouldn't be playing in this game. And you're right. I don't think any team, I mean, the top 7 teams in the West, at least, I think they're all pretty much equal. Like, I don't think there's a clear favorite in any series.
Right. I would say, honestly, out of the 7 teams, probably Dallas is probably the weakest.
I would agree with you, just because outside of Luka, I'm not.
It's like, how do they finish higher than the Lakers? I don't know. I don't get that.
So it's been a weird year, Barnes.
Yeah,
it's been a weird year.
It has been a weird year. So we'll see what happens there. And then the other game, not too exciting here. We do have the Spurs coming in at 6 games under 500. Traveling to Memphis, play the Grizzlies, to see, who's going to have a chance for the 8th seed here. I mean, the Grizzlies won this matchup 2 out of 3 times in the regular season. The Spurs sputtered down the stretch, losing 5 out of 6. Even though, this wasn't a good year for them, they clinched 21 straight seasons above 500 on the road, an NBA record at 19-17. So, I mean, I guess that's one of the biggest positives of the season, to keep that streak going.
Barnes, Mike says that if the Lakers lose, you have to wear a Mets jersey.
You're crossing
on
sports
the show,
here,
dude.
bud. Not allowed.
Oh, yeah, right. Barnes crosses sports all the time,
and we're talking about a situation that has no chance of happening.
So. But do you agree, though?
The bet?
No, I don't agree.
No, because you have no confidence, dude. He's scared.
There's nothing to talk about here. There's nothing to talk about.
I think that Piazza jersey.
Dude, a nice Piazza, even DeGrom jersey. If you want to wear a DeGrom jersey, too. No,
it'll be a Laker win in the Judge jersey, if anything. Okay? So, sit down, Mike, all right? And then you look at the Grizzlies here. I've kind of been saying this. I think it's important for them to get a playoff experience, get a series here. And you look at it, while people wanted to see him, take a bigger step forward, overall, averaging 19 points, 7.4 assists. Not terrible. I think just next year you really want to see a next leap, out of him. And now he gets Jackson Jr. back, who's looked pretty good, all things considered, coming back from injury.
Yeah, and I was one of those guys that said they shouldn't even bring Jackson Jr. back this year, but he has played really good. That has been a big improvement for the team. I think Ja's on a good track. I would have no worries there. But to this game tonight, it's a 1-game series, more or less. Right. So I'm taking the Grizzlies. They have more talent. They're just up and down the roster. You look, they just have better players on their team. If this was a 7-game series, I might take the Spurs just because Popovich is the best coach we've probably ever seen. You can make those adjustments as the series goes along. And it might be one of those series where the Grizzlies win the first 2 and then the Spurs come back and win the next 3.
Right.
But in a 1-game series, San Antonio's really kind of fallen apart this past month. I just don't see them pulling it out. They're going to be playing golf next week.
Yeah, and you could see it on his face. Pop is tired. Tired of the losing, after losing that playoff streak last year and then, faltering down the stretch here. He just wants to go home. He wants to go on a beach somewhere and just relax and not have to talk to any media for a while.
He misses Timmy.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
He does miss Timmy, but yeah, he's ready to pack it in. So I think we'll see the Grizzlies win here, and then that would line up Warriors Grizzlies for the 8th seed, and they just played the season finale the other day, and I think we're kind of both, I'm sure, expecting the Warriors maybe to win that one, or you're kind of split, or
I think that's going to be a really good game if that happens. I mean, I'm hoping it happens because I want to see that. It would take another big night from Curry, I think, to beat the Grizzlies. That's going to be every single game for the Warriors. I mean, even if they get into the playoffs and they play, say Utah, Curry's going to have to score 40 or 50 every night for them to win. Or you're going to have to see Wiggins, take that step that we know he's probably not going to take.
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs. So I'm excited. I think that game really could go either way.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, with both of these games here.
The Spurs are going to blow them out now.
No. I mean, after going 2 for 2 last night, I think I'm going 2 for 2 again. I mean, and
I
guess technically 4 for 4 with the Mets and the Yankees. But hey, I just try. That's all I can do.
So humble.
And then. Before we close out here, I mentioned, coming up starting tomorrow, we're going to have the PGA Championship, second major of the season for golf. So really looking forward to that, right on the ocean there in South Carolina, always a great venue. And, when we, air tomorrow, I'll give you any updates.
Mike is not letting this one go, dude.
Make a bet.
Not letting it go.
Any updates that we have in the leaderboard, you have all the big names, coming to this tournament, of course. You got McIlroy, you got Spieth, you got Dustin Johnson, Koepka coming off this knee surgery. He says he can't even bend down fully. So somehow I'm sure he'll be in contention, a former 2-time PGA champ. But just give him my pick here. I think the time is right. I'm going to say it right here. Jordan Spieth is going to complete the career Grand Slam, win the PGA at Kiowa, and we'll see another runner-up finish for Tony Finau. I think he's going to be right there, but come up a little short. But I think it'll be a fun tournament.
Yeah, and every single year I get more and more excited about the Masters. It's like one of my favorite sporting events of the year now. So I don't have a winner for you today, Barnes. I'm coming back tomorrow with a winner. I wasn't even thinking about the Masters.
So, we'll see what happens, and, we'll keep you up to date as the tournament goes on. And before we close out, any other words you have here, fellas, for today?
No, I mean, we might try and get Goose on, talk a little Masters in the future, but
gotta,
right?
Yeah.
Had him on last time.
Mike Theophil, super executive fan over there, says, best show yet, boys. Glad that old producer isn't on, dude. He does smell, huh?
He does smell.
Guy never showers.
Yeah.
Gross.
And then also, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us through Soundview Media, on Optimum, on Frontier, channels in the bio. So, thanks for tuning in. And other than that, keep commenting, liking, subscribing. Have a good night, everyone.
Peace. Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.